Life at the Edge of the Woods, 1998, June the 6th. Dear Louise and Dale, as I wait for the sun to warm up the house, I decided to drop a line. It's scarcely 50 degrees this morning, and when I arose at 5, hot coffee, my long blue winter robe, and house slippers were so comforting. So utterly peaceful this time of day, and that's when I usually ask favors of the Lord. At 7, I was reading and I heard a terrible commotion in the woods. I stepped out on the back porch and saw hundreds of crows crying their raucous sound. I wondered, what in the world are they after? I not only heard, but I saw 2 red-tailed hawks screaming defiantly. It took an army of crows to rout 2 hawks. Presently, still screaming in fury, the 2 hawks escaped, flying northeast. The wretched crow army stayed in the tops of the trees in my woods, squabbling loudly at the escaping hawks. Satisfied, I suppose, at how they have routed the enemy. Brave bullies, those crows. Nature in the raw. That's interesting and fascinating. Living here on the edge of the woods, I've spent a lot of time observing nature. Yesterday, when the rain ceased coming down, these 2 mowed acres covered with birds consuming the big old night crawlers. There were black grackles, robins, cardinals, brown thrushes, starlings, and always the sparrows having a feast like you never saw. It stayed cold all day too, so I set bread dough to rise and made a chocolate cake, boiled some chicken, and put all my lunch in the oven. Needless to say, I was in the kitchen where it was warm until 1 p.m. Everything that could be frozen up went into the freezer. When Paul came in at 4, he happily carried off a half of fresh bread, said he was going to have jelly and bread for supper. Bert is in North Carolina. She will be home Monday. This morning I got not a cloud in the sky, and the sun is coming up. It's so very welcome. Paul and I talked about his dad yesterday. He would have been 85 on the 5th. And I told Paul it was comforting to know that he was safe with the Lord and well. If he had still fought to live on until now, chances are he would have been bedfast, or even worse, and not knowing any of us. Paul agreed. Keith will be 54 Sunday, June the 7th. Junior Wallace is 65 on the 2nd. An elderly man living alone in Mecca left his door open and he dozed off. A noise wakened him up, and when he aroused, he discovered the doe and her fawn in his living room. Needless to say, before the doe left the premises, when the man came to his feet, the house was a shambles. She tried escaping through the big plate glass window. The old man just tried to stay out of her way. Eventually, she went out like she came in. Later, they carried the fawn into the woods where she ran to escape. Isn't nature exciting? Sandy and Randy are celebrating their 25th anniversary today. The party will be at Hillcrest, and I'm surprised it wasn't held at Randy's church, but Chet and Janetti had their 50th at Hillcrest also. Also, Troy and Amy's reception was there. Of course, Rob owns the building, even though he's trying to sell it. The inexorable march of time. Sometime it gets to me. And especially since I've lived long enough to see my own daughter become a great-grandmother. Angie has already named her little girl baby Mackenzie Grace. Blaine Shannon's wife Betty has had a stroke. She went in the hospital for heart catheterization and had the stroke there. Her daughter, Judy Kingery, came from Virginia and plans to take her mom home with her to take care of her. Betty is 69, hasn't been gone 2 years, yet some situations are just so sad. Judy and Steve have finished the first week of summer camp, and I'm kind of worried of how hard this season is going to be on Judy. With 4 different physical problems plaguing her, I can't help but worry about her. Jeanette won't be here for the Wallace reunion on the 21st. She's going to Honduras. She came one day this week and showed me her foot, and I think she will only barely make it. She says Mabel's test came back today, and she concludes that Mabel is torn up because Gayla has accepted a job in Cincinnati, making more money. Gayla is searching for a place to live. Of course, Nancy is trying to find a place just over the Ohio-Kentucky line, so Gayla will be nearer to her, Rick, and their church. It's only a half-hour's drive up to the interstate to Cincy. Well, I've caught you up, and I hope that you find this interesting. I'm fine, and I love you all. Pearl.